What is up, YouTube? It's your girl Evelyn, and I am back with the Season 4, Episode 6 recap of Wynonna Earp. As always, there will be spoilers, so proceed with caution. Episode 6 begins by showing us the moments leading up to Jeremy drowning Nicole. If you'll recall from Episode 5, Jeremy's research uncovered a few potentially dangerous cures for Nicole's frog-spewing ailment, one of which was an antidote soup. But when a hypnotized Nicole poured out the soup, they were left with only one option: to drown Nicole in a salt bath, thereby cleansing her body of the hex, which on the surface seems like a terrible idea. But Jeremy is able to transfer Nicole's consciousness into a frog, where she can safely wait out the cleansing of her body, then be transferred back into it. But the moment Nicole's consciousness is transferred into the frog, Margot is notified via her own dead frog, and she's so upset, she sends Reaper Billy to kill Waverly. Meanwhile, Doc and Wynonna are busy questioning Rosie the Revenant. Rosie explains that sometime after her baby-stealing plans fell through, she sought out a little sexual healing to help her cope. Unfortunately, Rosie chose to fornicate with the wife of fellow Revenant Creepy Phil, who in response rounded up a posse and went after her. Rosita fled to the Rock Island, a place known to cause unbearable pain to all Revenants, in the hopes that Phil and his crew wouldn't dare follow. Phil's posse chickened out, but Phil didn't, and the moment he joined Rosita on the island, an earthquake ripped through purgatory. And not only did Phil's posse disappear, but Rosita and Phil no longer felt any pain. Not long after, Rosita literally kicked Phil off the Rock Island, causing him to spontaneously combust, and poor Rosie's been stuck there ever since, afraid to step foot off the protective rock. Wynonna tells Rosie that the earthquake, along with the disappearing Revenants, happened when Bolshar broke the Earp curse, and when the eagle-eyed Doc spots a few pieces of the evil-blocking mineral amylite scattered around the base of the Rock Island, Rosie's plight suddenly makes sense. Before the Earp curse was broken, the amylite caused the Revenants excruciating pain, but in the aftermath of the curse, the mineral has become a shield of sorts, protecting Rosie from the fate of her fellow Revenants. And while Wynonna and Doc try to figure out how to transport Rosie from the Rock Island to the Scorned Woman Sanctuary without killing her, Rachel is still sneaking around the Clanton junkyard. And after surviving her close encounter with Reaper Billy, Holt finds her and drags her off somewhere. Back at Shorty's, it's time to resuscitate Nicole and transfer her consciousness out of the frog and back into her body. But Jeremy has just run into a huge miscalculation in an otherwise completely solid plan. Nicole's body is submerged in water, and Jeremy planned to shock her with an electric current to restart her heart. Except water and electricity don't mix very well. No! But Jeremy's lack of foresight quickly takes a back seat when Reaper Billy pops up to kill Waverly, and Frog Nicole's jar is knocked over during the fray. While Jeremy and Nedley search for Frog Nicole, Waverly runs for her life. And just when it looks like all hope is lost, Nicole's consciousness jumps out of the frog, and Ghost Daddy Nicole pushes Reaper Billy into the basement, saving Waverly's life. Back at the Rock Island, Doc and Wynonna decide to gather as much amylite as they can find, and create a path for Rosie to walk on without spontaneously combusting. Thankfully, the Scorned Women make it easy on them, and opens a glowing portal for them to hop through that leads straight to the temple. Doc stays behind because, well, he's a man. Back at Shorty's, the gang still believes Nicole's consciousness is inside one of the frogs, and Waverly even resorts to kissing the frogs in the hopes that, well, I'm not entirely sure what her thought process behind that was. Eventually, Ghost Daddy Nicole realizes she can control the lights, and uses them to send the gang a message in Morse code. After explaining that she's not inside a frog, she instructs them to go down to the basement with Reaper Billy. Nedley and Waverly reluctantly head down, and before Billy can attack, Ghost Daddy Nicole's consciousness jumps into him and forces him to tell Waverly the truth about Margot's curse. Nicole, like Billy, made a covenant and used her own life as collateral, which means the Clantons now own Nicole's soul. And the only way to unbind Nicole from Margot is to kill them both. Which actually might work out, since technically Nicole's already dead, so killing Margot is the next logical step. But time is running out. The longer Nicole stays dead, the harder it will be to revive her, and Waverly, unwilling to risk waiting for Wynonna, sets off for the Clantons alone. Meanwhile, Wynonna and Rosita have made it to the sanctuary, and Wynonna is ready to trade her least favorite revenant for Peacemaker. Rosie is outraged by the betrayal, but Wynonna reminds her that she tried to steal her baby, so she can suck it. Wynonna demands Peacemaker from the creepy nun, and the nun's true intentions finally come to light. The woman in the painting was nothing more than a ruse, and the nun reveals herself to be Medea, evil demon sorceress, granddaughter of Helios, and just an all-around bad bitch. And what Medea really wants is for Wynonna and Rosita to fight to the death. Using some quick thinking, the ladies distract the nuns and make a break for it. They barricade themselves in the weapons room, and after reaching a cautious truce, Wynonna talks Peacemaker through her existential crisis, and the gun sword comes out of hiding and transforms into the Peacemaker we all know and love. Medea and her crew eventually break in, and Wynonna easily takes her out with Peacemaker. The remaining nuns bow down to Wynonna, thankful to finally be free from the demon Medea. Turns out, the nuns are all revenants, just like Rosie, and the sanctuary, like the Rock Island, protects them, which is probably the happiest ending a revenant can hope for. Plus, it's strongly insinuated that Rosie is gonna bone all of them. In fact, Rosie's so happy, she discloses to Wynonna that the buyer for baby Alice was none other than Margot. And while Wynonna was busy getting her sister act on, Holt killed Rachel and fed her to Billy. JK, Holt actually took Rachel to the sheriff's station and called Doc to come get her. At the station, Doc and Holt have a heartwarming chit-chat about ending the Earp-Clanton feud once and for all, and even agree to talk to their respective sides about calling a truce. Back at the junkyard, Waverly has just arrived, and our fearless little half-angel confronts Margot, who still insists she was the one who got them out of the garden by supernaturally nudging Doc toward the correct door home. Margot also finally fills in the missing piece of her agreement with Nicole. Allegedly, Nicole agreed to deliver Doc to Margot as payment, because Margot, who wasn't even alive during the OK Corral, is still big mad about the fact that it was Doc who single-handedly killed all of the Clantons. Waverly tells Margot, not today, and then does her signature Bobo brain fry. At that exact moment, Nicole's consciousness returns to her body and she takes her first breath. A dazed, post-murdering Waverly is wandering around the Clanton junkyard when Holt and Wynonna arrive. After discovering Margot's body, Holt and Wynonna have a tense standoff. Holt demands to know why Waverly murdered his terrible mother. And Wynonna's like,
fuck you, fuck your mama, fuck your daddy, fuck the horse you rode in on, fuck everybody who loves you, who cares about you, who has ever supported you.
Thankfully, Doc shows up in the nick of time and talks Holt down. But as they walk away, Wynonna shoots Holt in the back. Later that evening, a super conflicted Doc chastises Wynonna for shooting Holt, and Wynonna tells Doc that she believes her great-grandfather Wyatt, that Doc shot first at the OK Corral. She also tells him it was Margot who wanted baby Alice. Back inside the homestead, the gang is taking a much-deserved round of shots, and after 6 episodes of waiting, Waverly finally gets an answer to her proposal.
She left her home to find where she belongs. Her mother's scared to leave her all alone. But she got time and she knows what to figure out. This ain't in a dream, a place where it seems that love will come around. So don't stay, you'll regret it all too much. Just wait, I will find you someday.
And that is it for the recap. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys will stick around through the extended hiatus. I have more Wynonna Earp content on the way, as well as some deep dives, top 5s, and of course recaps. I'm also working on a new series called Ship Battles, where I pit your favorite ships against each other in a bid to find out which ship is the greatest ship of all time. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week.